most of my research is I try to understand antisocial behavior. I've always particularly been interested in young people, starting with children between 6 and 12 years old in the Netherlands. I'm Dutch, so I worked with young kids then, and when I moved to the UK, I started working with teenagers. And in the meantime, now I'm also working on babies, trying to understand how antisocial behavior develops and what is involved in the development of the behavior. And within that, I'm particularly interested in what you could say brain functioning. Sounds a bit heavy, but you can also think of personality types. I mean, if you think about it, your personality involves thinking processes, decision making, things like emotions. All of these things are located somewhere in your brain. I'm particularly interested because I think there's a lot of work has been going on to try to understand what it is in the family or economic circumstances that make people more at risk for antisocial behavior. And I also think there is something in the person, in him or herself, that makes him a bit vulnerable towards developing antisocial behavior. So I look at emotions as one thing. Lots of aggressive behavior, antisocial behavior happens under emotional circumstances. Lots of anger. When you're very angry, the chances that you start to fight or hit somebody that applies to everybody. But also situations of fear are very interesting because, in a way, in order to commit something antisocial, to do something naughty or bad or harmful, you have to have some kind of fearlessness. People who are very fearful will probably be less likely to do these things than other people. So I look at differences between people in that. And then there's the decision making or personality stuff that's related to, again, in order to do something antisocial, you make almost consciously or less consciously the decision to do something which has certain consequences. So again, people differ in being able to make good or bad decisions, to be able to oversee the consequences of their decision. I mean, lots of antisocial behavior is what we call impulsive, so people don't really think it through what they are doing. So we look, so it's very much concentrating on the individual who does the behavior, trying to understand what it is that he or she does wrong, trying to understand why that is, and maybe also in the end trying to help think of ways in which people can try to make less bad decisions in their life and trying to be able to control their emotions slightly better. And I think that there's lots of work to be done and not a lot of work in terms of intervention trying to help people. There's not a lot of work that tries to understand that from that perspective.